The Voice of America is partnering with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's U.S. Africa Business Center, and as it convenes its first annual Africa Digital Innovation Competition for African startups. For more on this initiative, I'm joined by Guevara Yao. He is the Executive Director of Western Central Africa, U.S. Africa Business Center at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Yao, a very warm welcome to you here on Africa 54.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, technology is very interesting, but what's the main focus of this competition?
Well, the competition is geared to, spotlight talent on the continent. We know we have been following the trend on the continent, how digital economy, is representing so much for the continent. So our focus is really to bring startups that are operating in that, sphere to to detect talent, the innovation in sector like, cybersecurity and fintech. We have also what we call supply chain and and supply chain development, for example. And we also have the human development and social services like e-health, e-education, and so forth. So really the focus is how do we spotlight those talents and trying to support those in innovation that we see on the continent.
And you have a lot of talents coming out of the continent. So
Absolutely.
How is the Chamber supporting applicants given some of the challenges that we have experienced, globally, like the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the fact that there have been some conflicts in parts of Africa?
Yes. Well, what we did, you have to note that we partner with our AmCham network, the American Chamber network across the continent. We have about 18 AmChams. We also have about 26 AmChams that are looking for accreditation. So we have partners on the ground. We also have U.S. Embassy that we use. We have partners that to disseminate that information on this opportunity for startups on the continent. So that's really what we use to spotlight. Of course, social media, although the youth, there's internet access issue, but a lot of youth are on social media. So we use that a lot, and that was actually one of the main source of having those applicants.
So what would you say has been the most, impactful submission so far? Because I know you're receiving these applications over and over.
Yes, we started this competition in April 28th, and we received close to 2,000 applicants from over 50 countries on the continent. That was really amazing. And out of that, we went through a process to streamline, to have, top 25. And those top 25 were coming from each of the 5 regions of Africa. And so after that process, we were able to identify the champion for North Africa was the startup Vice from Egypt. We also have the same thing from East Africa, West Africa, Southern Africa, and Central Africa. And it's exciting for us. We have now the top 10. We are now moving by this Monday, Tuesday next week to determine the top 3. And those top 3, we are actually hoping to bring them in December during the summit that is coming up. To spotlight and showcase those talents.
And briefly, what is your advice to the youth out there watching you here on this program and trying to make some kind of name out there in terms of how they can get into this technology field?
Well, I think there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope, and they need to keep trying. And they need to, I think the main issue is the access to information. And that's what we're trying to do by partnering with institutions like yours and other institutions to bring the word out there. A lot of resources exist, but the youth are not aware of it. For example, the U.S. ADF, who is one of our partners, is bringing support. We have members that are supporting this initiative on the continent on their own, be it Microsoft, Google, all those different companies. So we're bringing all this in one platform at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and see how we can support those youth. So the advice will be they need to keep trying, they need to look for those information, and this is a first edition. We hope to do it every year, so they need to be looking out for that.
That's a great opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being here.
Guevara Yao is the Executive Director of West and Central Africa, U.S. Africa Business Center at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.